Ask yourself, how much free speech do you really have? Cancel culture has a lot of people scared to speak their minds these days. Just look at this girl's horrifying answer to the simple question of how many genders there are.
It's not that difficult.
As always, stick around to the end for the recap, this week's woke news, and much, much more.
How many genders are there?
I feel like there's two, because like transgender.
No, stop. Don't say that on camera.
Yeah, but I feel like you either switch from a boy to a girl.
No,
like
stop,
you
stop,
switch
stop,
back and forth.
Stop. I feel like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want to be, it's fine. It's okay.
Yeah, but I feel like they switch back and forth. Like, I know.
Yeah, but like, it doesn't really matter. Like, there's like, you can be anything you want to be. It doesn't matter.
You really believe that?
Come on,
Yeah.
stop.
All right, I'm sorry.
Now at first you might think the girl's just shushing her friend because she disagrees with her, but it becomes apparent that it's actually because she's looking out for her and scared of all the backlash a simple opinion might generate. When people are this scared of expressing their thoughts, we truly have a dystopia incoming. And speaking of dystopias, check out why this Seattle public school believes the love of reading and writing is a form of white supremacy.
In case you missed it, students in a Seattle public school are told that the love of reading and writing is white supremacy. This happened in a world literature and composition class at Lincoln High School. Students were given a handout with definitions of the 9 characteristics of white supremacy. Among the examples is worship of the written word. It's wrong to value written communication because it's a form of honoring only what is written, and even then only what is written to a narrow standard, full of misinformation and lies. Misinformation. The worksheet labels objectivity, individualism, and perfectionism as white supremacy. If students deny their own racism or that any of the 9 characteristics are legitimately racist, is also white supremacy. Whether you realize it or not, you're racist. Oh, and denialism or being overly defensive is a racist example of entitlement to name what is or isn't racism. So is this article then racist? I literally can't keep track right now. I'm actually confused.
Now I'm not sure whether the goal here is to dumb people down, but of all things, if we can't even encourage school children to love reading and writing, then there's really no hope for the next generation. You end up with people like this who think it makes sense to use God/God pronouns. See if you can follow the logic in this next one.
God pronoun so offensive to people, like, it's a pronoun, get over it. And so I'm gonna say my pronouns real quick and why. So he spelled HY is because I'm agender and I just like the masculinity, but I don't want to be associated with men. That's why he HY, right? Then I have they them, and that's just me being like, you can use that. I'm okay with that. Like, pop off. It's like not my favorite, but go for it. I don't care. Zer, I'm fine with. Like, it's okay. I think it's better than they them, but it's kind of like the same thing. God is me validating my agenderness. Oh, fuck, I ruined this Q-tip. Me validating my agenderness because I don't view myself as a god. I'm an atheist. I don't believe in gods. But I just like the, not feeling, but how it's perceived with me. So God, the reason why I use it is because as an agender person, I don't have a gender. So it's like I'm existing and I'm not existing at the same time. God, right? I am a being and I'm not a being at the same time, like God. So that's why people can get offended. That's fine, but nothing else validates my agenderness like that pronoun. And so if y'all want me to not be agender, that's fine. That just, there's nothing on here. That's just like what happens. So yeah, those are my pronouns, and that's why I chose God.
Now I don't care how much validation it gives you. If you genuinely expect me to refer to you with God pronouns, then you're out of your Gen Z mind. It's easy to see why nobody takes people like this seriously. And if you want more proof of just how much validation these folks need, take a look at how many LGBTQ holidays we have nowadays.
If trans Americans want to have a day to themselves, have a day, have a month. That's what Pride Month's for, right? June? But we discovered trans days take up half the year. They have Transgender Day of Visibility, Transgender Day of Remembrance, Transgender Awareness Week, Trans Awareness Month, Transparent Day, International Day Against Homophobia, Biphobia, and Transphobia. Pride Month. LGBTQ History Month. LGBTQ Health Awareness Week. International Day of Pink. Day of Silence for trans bullying. Lesbian Visibility Week. Agender Pride Day. Harvey Milk Day. Pansexual and Panromantic Awareness Day. Stonewall Day. International LGBTQ Plus Day. International Non-Binary People Day. International Drag Day. Bisexual Awareness Week. Celebrate Bisexuality Day. International Lesbian Day. National Coming Out Day. Gender Fluid Visibility Week. International Pronoun Day. Spirit Day. Intersex Awareness Day. Intersex Day of Remembrance.
Just don't forget about Mental Health Awareness Month as well. And perhaps next up we should add a Transgender Athlete Day as well. Because as our next clip will show, transgender athletes are absolutely dominating women's sports right now.
Then take the rounders, Darren Neely, representing Eastside Barbell, still 95 kilos.
Now call me crazy, but that seemed like a pretty easy lift considering it was a new weightlifting record. But acceptance should be prioritised above all else, as this trans Pentagon official explains.
All too often, I hear leaders talk about providing everyone with dignity and respect like it's an aspirational goal. That's not good enough. Dignity and respect is the bare minimum. It's the floor of where we can be. We must set our sights higher and focus on intentional inclusivity, because there are still far too many people out there, not just LGBTQ individuals, that feel marginalized, shut out, or discriminated against. So for all of you out there, I ask you to set out your symbols of pride, share your pronouns in your email, particularly if you're a person who doesn't think they need to. Initiate difficult conversations about racial and gender barriers, and share a bit of your vulnerability in a way that draws others in. You all have the power to take intentionally inclusive actions to ensure the multiple perspectives that we know make us stronger as we devise winning warfighting strategies get heard.
Now, the biggest mystery to me will be how these wackos got to senior leadership positions so quickly in the first place. If anything, it's hard to feel patriotic listening to something like that. That being said, some folks on the left are anything but patriotic. This Seattle dance squad was kicked out of a stadium simply because their American flags made audience members feel unsafe.
A Seattle dance squad was kicked out of a dance convention because their American flag shirts made audience members feel triggered. At the Emerald City Hoedown in Seattle, the Borderline dance team, wearing American flag-themed shirts, was confronted by the event's organizer. They were told that their shirts were causing some attendees to feel triggered and unsafe. The team was given an ultimatum: get rid of the American flag shirts or leave. The dance team left. The Seattle attendees felt triggered and unsafe over American flag shirts? Sure, because when I think of public menace, I think patriotic square dancers.
Now, I'd love to hear what you all think about folks like this who get triggered over seeing their own country's flag. And there's a lot more easily triggered people nowadays, like this news reporter who criticizes Jerry Seinfeld's show for having too many white males.
I've noticed that most of the guests are mostly white males of 22 episodes that you've had.
Yeah, let's get into that.
No, but you
take a look over here, Peter. What do you see? A lot of whiteys. What's going on here? Oh, this really pisses me off. But go ahead. Really pisses me off. People think it's the census or something. I mean, this has got to represent the actual pie chart of America. Who cares? It's just funny. You know, funny is the world that I live in. You're funny, I'm interested. You're not funny, I'm not interested. Okay. And I have no interest in gender or race or anything like that, but everyone else is kind of with their little calculating, is this the exact right mix? You know, I think that's, to me, it's anti-comedy.
Now, I for one love the fact that Jerry actually stood up for himself, even though he's a celebrity with lots to lose. Just compare that to the first clip we saw, where one of the girls immediately silenced her friend in fear of getting cancelled. You have to say, the wokies have made a lot of ground in terms of brainwashing people, from getting them to believe reading and writing is a form of white supremacy, to thinking mathematics is somehow racist. It's all designed to make you second-guess your own thoughts and question everything that comes out your mouth. And the bright news is that people are slowly coming around to this realization. Last week, the Foundation for Individual Rights published findings from their yearly survey on free speech in the United States. They actually found that both liberals and conservatives were more concerned about the future of freedom of speech in the country compared to 5 years ago. There's a lot of stats in the original finding, but I'll just sum it up in a nutshell for you. Essentially, they recorded that almost half of conservative Americans felt, not at all, sure about the protection of their First Amendment rights. And even more surprisingly, over 3/4 of liberal Americans were not at all sure or unsure about the protection of their First Amendment rights, regardless of which president was elected next. We've all seen a lot of celebrities, politicians, corporations, even regular people face the repercussions of cancel culture. And it's time people stop thinking and acting like the girl from our first clip and take a page out of Jerry Seinfeld's book instead. So if you too feel that we need to stand up and fight for our right to free speech, make sure you like and share this video. And as always, thanks for supporting this channel, and I'll see you all next week.